It looks like a lot, but I could just be too tired.
So blurry. Okay. It's somewhat fixing itself. Okay, we're just no, stop freezing. Okay, we're good. Okay. Main episode. We have stupid statistics, we have soccer, we have NFL, and of course, we have racing. I'm a happy camper with racing today. But we'll get to that in a couple minutes here. But we'll start off with stupid statistics.
Alright, guys, y'all are gonna have to deal with me all bundled up, sounding slightly congested, and if I stumble over my words, pray for me, because it's been a weekend. Anyways, moving on. So, first things first, the Pro Bowl games are moving to Super Bowl weekend. Nice!
Yeah, so normally there would be like a week or two in between them, but they're moving them so they're all within like the same week. And I'm like, really? It was so fun to like watch the Pro Bowl stuff and then have it lead up to the Super Bowl, but now they are like within the same thing, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, like, what are they gonna do with that 2 week break?
Yeah, and now it's just gonna be like nothing in there.
Yeah. I think it's smarter to do it within that 2 week break because it gets them more views throughout the next couple of weeks instead of just doing it all in one weekend.
Plus,
Personally,
like, I feel like with the social media stuff, like, they always use some of that to, like, go into and promote
yeah,
the Super Bowl, and now they're not doing that. They're not, like, the Pro Bowl games aren't gonna have as much social media content because everyone's gonna be like, oh, Pro Bowl games, and then immediately to the Super Bowl. And it's like, really?
yeah, I don't like that. And then the Colts quarterback, Daniel Jones, is looking to sign a blockbuster extension. A 4 year, $204 million extension would put him into the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks. Dang.
Yeah, he's playing, well, I don't know if I would say he's playing very well, considering years past with the Giants. But I mean, the players that are now surrounding him, like the
Mm,
Colts could be a good team to make a good run this year.
yeah. And then teammate Jonathan Taylor is the fifth player since 2000 with at least 3 scrimmage touchdowns in 4 games in a season. Joins Danian?
Mhm.
Danian? Yeah. Tomlinson in 2006, Marshall Falk in 2000, Sean Alexander in 2005, and Priest Holmes in 2002 and 2003. Taylor also becomes the sixth player in NFL history with at least 70 scrimmage touchdowns in his first 75 games.
See, that's
Dang.
almost a touchdown a game.
Yeah. Pop off.
And you know what?
And
He's
then
on your fantasy team.
I was like, I know that name sounds familiar, but honestly, if you ask me anything, I'm gonna be like, don't make me answer because I'm not gonna answer right now. Yo, I'm like to the point where like when I went to pay for something the other night, I gave them back the debit card and left because my brain was thinking. Okay, moving on. Fun fact. That's just life.
This
And
one
then the
might be a little bit tricky for you, but that's okay. I'll
thank you.
explain it if it doesn't make sense.
Packers and their quarterbacks, when they are 27 years old, have gone on to become champions. Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. The current quarterback is Jordan Love, turns 27 next week. No, I get where you're coming from.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got it. that
Good.
one, that one, that one made sense. And then the Celtics and the USMNT center back Cameron Porter Vickers suffered a major Achilles injury and is said to be out for 3 to 5 months. Could be looking at missing out on the World Cup squad. Aw, dang.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't that big of a fan of him to begin with, but like the alternative is like Miles Robinson, and Miles Robinson plays MLS, whereas CCV plays in Europe. So you can already see my little
Yeah.
But CCV always kind of like rubbed me the wrong way because we would always switch to a 3-back versus a 4-back, and I think that we need to play with a 4-back, not a 3-back. But I don't know based on the players and how they're currently playing, and I just think that with this injury, he's set to miss this upcoming international window in November, but he could just not get a chance to like prove himself working up to the World Cup. And then it's like, do we really want to put this player who's like not a Christian Pulisic, like a well-known name, into the roster and be like, yeah, he's gonna play in the World Cup? Do we really want to be doing that? Do we?
Probably. And then Bayern's Lennart Carl, sorry, I have to like think about this, became Bayern's youngest ever goal scorer in the Champions League. He's 17 years and 245 days in Bayern's 4-0 win over Club Brugge.
Yeah, my goat. And then he scored again this weekend, but we'll get to that.
Just now.
Right. Okay, we're starting in Serie A because, we work our way to the Bundesliga per usual. So Napoli beat Inter Milan 3-1, Lazio beat Juventus 1-0, and AC Milan tied Pisa 2-2. Just a little side note for all of you. None of the leagues have gotten to 10 games played yet. I know we keep saying this week after week, but finally, when they hit 10 games, I'll update the tables because, yeah, 10 games out of 38 seems reasonable to me, whereas, like, under 10, it's like, do we really need to waste our breath on this? So, yeah. But to the Premier League, where Tottenham beat Everton 3-0. Aston Villa upsets Man City 1-0. Chelsea lose to Sunderland 2-1. Brentford beat Liverpool, another shocker, 3-2. And Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 1-0. And Man United close out, beating Brighton 2-0. And then La Liga, where we have Atleti playing Real Betis tomorrow or Monday, maybe today if that's when this is coming out. But then we have El Clasico. It was my game of the week. I think I picked a good game. You can't go wrong with El Clasico. So Real Madrid beat Barcelona 2-1. We had red cards for both teams in the 90th and then 90 plus 10 minute. Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham scored for Real Madrid, and Lopez scored for Barcelona. So Real Madrid had 9 shots on target, 20 shots total, 48% of possession, and 12 corners, whereas Barcelona had 6 shots on target, 13 shots total, 52% of possession, and 4 corners. So it was a really good game between the two, considering, red cards for both teams. Not that you want to be seeing that, but yeah. And then I saw that after the game, the Real Madrid players were chirping at Lamine Yamal and being like, "You were talking so much throughout the week. Why don't you talk now?" Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I didn't see anything from either team throughout the weeks. A little confused with what you're saying there, but that's okay. And then to the Bundesliga, where we have Leverkusen beating 10-man Freiburg 2-0, Leipzig beating Augsburg 6-0, and Bayern beating 10-man Gladbach 3-0. We had goals from Kimmich, Guerrero, and Leonard Carl in the 64th, 69th, and 81st minutes. Gladbach got their red card in the 19th minute. We had 13 shots on target, 23 shots total, 73% of possession, and 8 corners. I didn't watch the game, so we're not gonna worry about that. But I saw our Tifu that we did before the game. I love that. Smoking that pack. We are still undefeated. We're like, I think it's either 12 for 12 or 13 for 13 now. We are the only European in the top 5 leagues, European team to not have lost yet, so we are still undefeated. But I saw Leonard Carl's goal. It was another screamer. I'm so excited. He's turning out to be like a great talent, a great fill-in for Jamal Musiala. And I saw Jamal training. He's back in training. He's doing stuff outside now. So hopeful for his return soon. Same with Alphonso Davies. And I just want this to be the reminder that we are playing without two of our best players right now, and we still have not lost. And I think our next game in the Champions League is against PSG at PSG. So that will be tough, but I'm holding out. I'm holding out hope that we can go there and pull off the upset. But I'm not 100% sure that's who we're playing next. But we'll see. We have the hardest path in the Champions League, but I think we can pull through because we're tied with PSG right now at the top. Fingers crossed. But anyways, we'll move over to the NFL.
Okay, so first things first, we have the NFL scores. Bear with me. So the Chargers beat the Vikings 37-10. The Dolphins beat the Falcons 34-10. The Ravens beat the Bears 30-16. The Jets beat the Bengals 39-38. Very tight. The Bills beat the Panthers, of course, 40-9. The Texans beat the 49ers 26-15. The Patriots beat the Browns 32-13. The Eagles beat the Giants 38-20. The Buccaneers beat the Saints 23-3. The Colts beat the Titans 38-14. The Broncos beat the Cowboys 44-24. And fun fact, one of my patients is rooting for the Cowboys. He's a big Cowboys fan. I know. R.I.P. And they're like, well, they're going up against the Cowboys, so we have a good chance. And I was like, well, did you see their last game? Anyway. And then currently you have the Packers versus the Steelers tonight at 8:20. Currently, the Steelers are winning 9-7. There's 4 minutes and 6 seconds left in the second quarter. And then the Commanders versus the Chiefs are tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, tight one. And then here are some NFL points that if you missed, I'm going to catch you up on them. So the NFL fines the New York Giants for breaching concussion protocol. $200,000 was the fine. Head coach Brian DeBall was $100,000, and running back Cam
Skattebo.
Yeah, of course it's Cam. He got fined $15,000 during Jackson Dart's evaluation.
Yeah, I mean, your head coach just shouldn't be in there popping his head into the tent, making sure your player's coming back to the game.
Yeah.
You can wait. It's a head injury. Like, that's pretty... don't get me wrong. I saw how they played when they put Russell Wilson in, and I would have been the same way too. But you gotta respect the medical officials and let them do their stuff.
Concussions are not great, especially depending on the level it is. So I'm gonna have to agree with medical on this one. And then speaking of Cam, after suffering a broken ankle injury in today's loss to the Eagles, they lost. The Giants lost to the Eagles.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, well, the hit, how he came up afterwards, he couldn't even... Okay, it just reminded me of Jamal Musiala's. You know how his ankle was turned like that? That's how Cam Skattebo's looked. And I was like, yikes. Because his foot got caught under the defenders, and he landed like this, and then yeah, it was gross. I was like, they showed the replay, they're like, we're not so sure that we should show it might be graphic, but then they showed it anyways, and I just looked at his foot, I was like, oh, not again. No thank you.
And then we have the Bucs wide receiver, Mike Evans, suffers a concussion and broken collarbone, expected to return for the last 4 or 5 games this season.
Yeah, he's expected to undergo surgery this week for that, so we'll see how that goes. And he's not the only wide receiver that's expected to get surgery this week. Malik Neighbors, the Giants' star wide receiver, is also expected to undergo for his ACL, right? injury that he suffered a couple weeks ago. He still hasn't undergone surgery for that yet, and he's expected to get that this week.
Anyways, now to racing.
Right, we had the Mexican Grand Prix this week, so you can expect our recap for that. We have 4 races left in the season. Of course, it's coming down to the wire after today's race. Holy mackerel. You'll just have to stay tuned for that video to come out. But we have NASCAR. We have our playoffs. It was the Martinsville Speedway this week. Fun fact, one of my roommates that I had in college was at the race today, and she was telling me how much fun she had, and she was like, now I see why you like F1. And I was like, got it. Thanks. But Julie and I are really happy with this result because our stage 1 winner was William Byron. Our stage 2 winner was also William Byron. And our top 5 for the race was Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. And our winner, William Byron. So we were really happy with that. This actually put him into the top 4 or whatever they call it. So he's fighting for his first championship this year. He is going against Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe. And they are the 4 remaining drivers in order to win the drivers' championship title thing. I don't know, it's different from F1's. But the drivers that got eliminated were Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano. So, yeah, but we'll go over to radar points. So, last week, Julie had the Mexican Grand Prix, and I had El Clasico. You'll get our thoughts on the Mexican Grand Prix on Wednesday with our F1 video. We already heard my thoughts on El Clasico earlier this episode, but on to next week's picks.
Guys, bear with. I was looking at them, and honestly, my brain couldn't compute what would be a really good game, other than, the Bills versus the Chiefs is honestly a big rival for a lot of people. And I'm just rooting for my Bills, but I think it will be a good game. There's always some tense air when it comes to the Chiefs versus the Bills, so hopefully Josh Allen smokes them. And then I don't know why, but the Broncos and the Texans have been doing pretty good, so I just think that would be a good game to see. But I don't know why I put that. I literally said LOL, my brain is too dead to pick something.
Well, the Broncos have been doing pretty good, and they scored 33 points in the 4th quarter last week. And then this week, the Texans beat the 49ers, which I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It was like a left brain kind of decision. I was just like, yeah, maybe that might be a fun game to watch. But yeah, that's my picks. Hope you like them.
I have Liverpool versus Aston Villa. This will be Saturday at 4 p.m. Liverpool have lost back-to-back games, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. They were looking like they could be one of the front runners to win the Premier League title this year. I don't know. This could be a pretty important game for them to win. And then we also have Bayern and Leverkusen playing also on Saturday at 1:30. This will be crucial for Bayern and just a good way to close out the first half of the season. I know we're kind of far away to be saying close out the first half of the season, but it's crucial for us to get at least one win against Leverkusen, and I kind of feel like it has to come now rather than later. That's okay. Yeah.
But that's everything, guys. Let us know in the comments your radar points. What is wrong with me? I can't even think. What is it? Radar? What is it called?
The radar points?
Is it radar points? Okay.
Yeah, but it's points because it's you and me. Theirs would be singular.
No. Brain hurts. Okay. If you don't want to miss me getting confused and my brain's fried, please subscribe. Hopefully that's not the case, but it could happen. So if you don't want to miss that, please subscribe and turn on our post notifications so you don't miss that F1 video. Those videos are one of our favorite videos to film. And if you want to see more of our videos, sometimes we post a vlog, sometimes we post, I don't know, a random game video, Fortnite, you know? So don't forget to subscribe. And then check our other social media pages down below. We have TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang. So if you don't want to miss any of those posts, please check them out. And if they're not in our description, check out our last video that's probably suggested. Please watch it. I don't know, like it. Leave a comment. And go check out our social media pages through that description. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Goodbye.